Hey there, this is Natalie, and this is part 10 of my reading of the Mushoku Tensei prequel, Old Dragon's Tale. This will cover chapters 19 and 20, and is the second to last video in the series. I did tell you this one would be coming out very quickly after the last part. If you're watching these when they're first uploaded, the final part of this series will be uploaded tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications switched on, so you can be among the first to watch it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight back into Old Dragon's Tale. Chapter 19, Destruction of Demon World. The battle with Demon World was particularly fierce. The 8 great demon kings matched strengths with the 5 dragon generals. Dragon God Sama and Demon God were also equally matched. We were no longer in perfect fighting shape, and Dragon God Sama was wounded. We could no longer destroy a world with just the 6 of us, even though we intended to walk the path of peace. Yet Dragon God Sama plunged us into total war. He called upon all the dragon warriors and brought the full force of Dragon World to bear. Of course, all the Demon World's fighters came to meet them. Dragon warriors could win by force, but demon fighters win by numbers. It's an even match. Dragon Race invaded. Although we devastated several cities, the demons were numerous and tenacious. Unable to land a decisive victory, we withdrew. Then the demon race retaliated, launching a counteroffensive against Dragon World. Because of the unique topography of Dragon World, the demons' offensive faltered, so they also retreated and left behind their share of destruction. Such back and forth fighting raged on for years. I command the dragon warriors from the front line, duelled the 8 great demon kings countless times. Necros Lacros has been strangely absent for the entire war, a missing member of the 8 great demon kings. Did they hold him in reserve, or was he preparing to attack when we least expected? I had no clue of his whereabouts. The war raged for decades. The necessity of war begets technology advancements. During the course of the war, we the 5 dragon generals developed many new magic and technologies. Dorasama created spirits using summoning magic. To counter magical attacks from the demons, Sillard invented barrier magic. Chaos forged magic swords from the bones of demons. Maxwell developed dragon gates as a method to weaken demonic power. A revolution in magical knowledge, relentlessly thrown into the battlefield. Of course, the demons were no slouch either. No, while there were many idiots among the demons, there are also wise ones. They invented much magic to counter the dragon race. A beam of light that can instantly vaporize dragons, magic spears that amplify the wielder's power, poisons that corrode the victim in a painful death. Many unique techniques were created through methods unknown to us. It was total war, with the apex pinnacle of technology and magic. Much of them were lost. Those endless battles, like a bottomless swamp, would stretch on for eons. However, even such a war reached a turning point. What do you think was the end result of so much technological advancement? Population decline. For Dragon Race and Demon Race both. It's a natural consequence of war. Demon Race and Dragon Race were both resilient people. At the beginning, there were few casualties on either side. 2 armies colliding head-on, numbered in the tens of thousands each, yet only a couple of deaths on either side. It was a small miracle. But as technology slowly advanced, the casualties mounted. The Dragon Race's tombs were filled with the names of those fallen in the battlefield. Too many have died. Let's stop this war. Wars among the human race would often end this way, but neither the Dragon Race or Demon Race would ever consider it. The turning point was something else. We were troubled by our decline in fighting strength. It was the injuries to Dragon God Sama and the 5 dragon generals that forced us into total war in the first place. As our numbers declined, we fell into a precarious situation. Then Human God suddenly appeared. Popping up from behind, as usual, he said, "The 8 great demon kings are appearing on the front line more often lately. If you defeat and reduce their numbers, you can turn this war around. We won't be having such a tough time, if only it's so easy. If the dragon generals all gang up on a demon king, it'll be no different than an ordinary monster hunt. 5 dragon generals were the strongest warriors of the dragon race. We always fought alone. It wasn't necessarily out of pride or honour, simply there was never a necessity otherwise. Dragon generals could always defeat every enemy single-handedly. A blind spot. When I spoke to the others of this, they all wore bitter expressions. But with how the war had progressed, it dawned on everyone that special tactics were necessary to turn the tide. So they accepted my suggestion. We provoked one of the 8 great generals, lured and isolated him, then all 5 attacked at once. No enemy could withstand the full might of the 5 dragon generals. That demon king died, astonished and in despair. In this way, one by one, we eliminated the 8 great demon kings. Without them, the demons lost their momentum and the dragon race pushed back. Yet, even in the end, Necros Lacros did not show. Finally, Demon God appeared on the front line. When he spotted us, Demon God began to grow in size. 5 meters, 10 meters, 100, 1,000, his growth continued unabated. Only when his head pierced the clouds and his feet were the size of walls did he stop. At the same time when he stopped, eyes appeared everywhere on his body. The eyes caught sight of the 5 dragon generals and engaged us in battle. You may assume that giants in stories were lumbering beasts, but not Demon God. He still moved about with his usual swiftness. He fell upon us with punches the size of mountains and kicks like falling meteorites. It was too much even for the 5 dragon generals. Even when we dodged a punch, we would be blown for tens of kilometers away by the aftershock. There was too much of a power gap between gods and generals. We were not his match. It was then I truly realised the power of the gods. If I'd fought Beast God, Sea God or Heaven God, it would have been a one-sided slaughter as well. Luckily, if Demon God appeared, Dragon God Sama would not stand on the sideline either. Dragon God Sama, who had been preserving his strength until this moment, appeared in Demon World in perfect form. The final duel began. I was worried. It wasn't that I didn't think Dragon God Sama could defeat the mountain-sized demon god, but the wounds he suffered in other worlds had yet to fully heal. However, it seemed that I was worried for nothing. A golden light shone from Dragon God Sama's body as he began to move faster than light. Demon God's punches and kicks had difficulty connecting. On the rare occasion when they did land, it was Demon God that was blown away. Dragon God Sama was overpowering, but when a body part of Demon God was blown off, it would immediately regenerate. Demon God would launch into another attack, so Dragon God Sama failed to gain an upper hand. Every blow between the gods was accompanied by roaring sounds, making our skins crawl no matter how far away we were. With a slight delay, the shockwave came and blew us away, but we witnessed their battle anyway. We couldn't look away. It was the 4th time I witnessed a duel between gods. Each was a terrible catastrophe of world-shattering destruction. This battle was unusually long. Dragon God Sama's unrelenting destructive power failed to break Demon God. Neither could Demon God strike a decisive blow against Dragon God Sama. Thus they attacked and defended for 10 days, 20 days. Nobody could approach them. All watched from afar like we did, a fight that could go either way. But Dragon God Sama was the victor, after exactly 100 days. A divine light suddenly poured out from below the giant demon god's feet. It didn't immediately register for me what was happening, but as the particles of light streamed out, it dawned on me. It's a magic circle. A magic circle the size of continents was under Demon God's feet. I couldn't see how Demon God looked from a distance, but from his gestures I could tell he didn't expect it either. He never thought Dragon God Sama would pull off something like this. Demon God's body began to rapidly collapse, starting from his feet. Because of his size, from the distance it appeared as if a mountain was slowly weathering away. It's hard to tell whether it was quick or slow. After the light subsided, Dragon God Sama returned, holding a small jewel in his hand. "Dragon God Sama!" We rushed to him. Dragon God Sama was covered in wounds. In addition to the wounds received from other gods, Dragon God Sama had nearly exhausted all of his Dragon Tuki in the battle against Demon God, so weakened that I no longer sensed the usual divine aura around him. With Dragon God Sama looking near collapse, the 5 dragon generals were all terrified. "Oh no, Dragon God Sama, for the time being let's hurry and return to the dragon world." We lent a shoulder to Dragon God Sama, who could only moan in response, and flew. Then suddenly Dora-sama turned around. Beyond her were the terrified demon masses, petrified by the death of their god, and the world collapsing around them. Indeed, this world could not withstand a battle between gods either. Seeing all this, Dora-sama tossed the jewel toward me. "Laplace, you stay and witness the demon world's end." "Yes." Witness the end of a world. Is it a courtesy? In both the sea and heaven world, someone remained to witness their end. Of course, it's not mere courtesy. There's also the responsibility of finding Lunaria-sama's murderer before the world's total collapse. Even though I barely did anything the first time at Beast World, it couldn't be helped. You would freeze too, watching a world end. It was too shocking a scene, to witness something as vast as a world collapse, like the flow of a great river, an unstoppable end that you can only stand by and watch. Irreversible. The demons are a strong race, but as the world collapses, nothing can be done. Like people of the other worlds, they all try to flee in every direction. But after a while, they all collectively move toward one. The legacy to another world. Yes, human god made his move again. It's a shocking sight to bear, but after witnessing it so many times, I'd become resistant to it. I flew about the collapsing demon world to complete my mission. I was looking for someone. Necros Lacros. Even at the end, one of the great demon kings never appeared. He was also a close associate of Kirisis Callisis. If we met, maybe I could learn something useful. Why wait until now to find him? Because there's no way for me to come to Demon World. I had long returned Beast God's jewel to Dragon God Sama. I couldn't even think to petition him, because I already bore the responsibility of inviting those criminals into the Dragon World. Even if I suggested it, Dragon God Sama probably wouldn't permit me to go. As a result, I never had a chance to meet Necros Lacros again. After flying for a while, I spotted something. The largest city of the world, the demon capital Dilek, the biggest castle, demon god castle Gilek. The castle was ablaze. A castle that shouldn't burn was engulfed with an unusual black flame. What insane individual would set the residence of a god on fire? I found that suspicious and approached the castle. However, with the smoke thick in the air, I couldn't find the entrances. Therefore, I landed on the grounds. Before, I always entered from the rooftop, so it was an unusual sensation to stand before the front gate. Several guards were fleeing from the castle as I landed. When they spotted me, they screamed and ran away. Walking away from them, I head inside the castle. It was tremendously hot inside, with many demon corpses littered about, but the heat did nothing to the protection of my Dragon Tuki. I looked about the castle that was engulfed in flame. Of course, no one remained in the burning castle. The glorious Castle Gilek was deserted. I couldn't find the arsonist. He must have already fled. Thinking so, I left the castle. Then we met. A 6-armed black giant emerged from the stairs leading to the basement. Necros Lacros. Just the person I was looking for. You. The face I haven't seen for so long looked rather thin. Could immortal demons lose weight? He had a baby in his arms. Laplace, please, let us go. Before I could respond, Necros Lacros continued, hiding the baby behind him. I know why you would betray us, but this kid knew nothing. The child is innocent. For a moment, I couldn't comprehend his words. I have betrayed them? What are you talking about? What am I talking about? The one that murdered Kirisis Callisis and engulfed the worlds in the flames of war? Was you, Laplace? Wait, Kirisis Callisis was murdered? When? What's the point of pretending you plotted the whole thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me, Necros Lacros, exactly how did Kirisis Callisis die? I listened to the visibly agitated Necros Lacros about the circumstances on their side. Everything started the day Kirisis Callisis returned to the demon world. Necros Lacros didn't know the precise reason, only that she was allowed to return for a while. Demon God had nodded at his wife's words and did not inquire further. Kirisis Callisis was near childbirth around that time, so everyone assumed the dragon race had allowed her return in consideration. Kirisis Callisis gave birth to a healthy child. The birth of an immortal demon is rather unusual. Even their physique remained unchanged during pregnancy, but that's a bit of a tangent. Shortly after giving birth, Kirisis Callisis was found dead. Demon God went on a rampage, searching for the criminal. Fortunately, this criminal left behind a trail of evidence: silver hair and scales. Remains of a dragon race. That night, all the dragon warriors stationed in Demon World had disappeared. It's a story I've heard somewhere before, and it proceeded as expected as well. Dragon race did it. Laplace of the 5 dragon generals took revenge on the demons, but here the stories diverged. Upon hearing the story, Necros Lacros strongly rejected the accusations from the other great demon kings. Laplace would never do such things. Rather, it's probably a plot, planting evidence to incriminate the dragon race. We should calm down and investigate further. The demon kings did settle down, and were about to engage with the dragon race for details. It was just then that news of the destruction of Beastworld at the hand of the dragons came. At the same time, the suspect of Kirisis Callisis' murder was captured, a dragon race. Under intense torture, the man testified, "I was ordered by Laplace," and Necros Lacros was also an accomplice. Necros Lacros was quickly captured and imprisoned. Necros Lacros turned rather depressed. Incredible how much faith he had in me. Even if he feared that I might take revenge for his past transgressions. After that, Necros Lacros didn't know about the situation in Demon World. Well, the story ended the same. Demon Race chose to fight and engaged with Dragon Race in battle. Necros Lacros could only wait in his pitch-black cell. However, when Demon God died, the world began to crumble, so he knew something terrible had happened. He managed to break free and escaped outside. When he saw people fleeing in every direction, he hadn't figured out what was going on yet, only realizing that the castle was set on fire. A black flame. Seeing that strange flame, Necros Lacros realized that the newborn demon child was still in the castle. Fearing the worst, he rushed into the castle and the baby's room. As he feared, no caretaker remained with the child. So he took the child with him to escape, and that's when he unexpectedly met me. "I feared you were the cause of everything, but I can see from your face that you're truly innocent. It wasn't me." So much information left my head swirling. If everything he said was true, then we were framed. By who? For what? At least Necros Lacros wasn't lying. He's a man who could tell no lies. He doesn't have the brains to make up a story like this. "I'd like to talk in detail, but I have to keep this child alive. If you're truly not hostile, please let us go." I slowly slid my body aside, letting them through. Demon God's child. When he grows up, anyone would expect him to become Dragon God Summer's enemy, but I couldn't stop them. After listening to Necros Lacros' circumstances, it's impossible to take the life of that baby. We already destroyed their world under false pretenses. To kill the child in fear of revenge was not righteous. Head to the teleport shrine. The path to the human world is open. Thanks. I owe you one. And Necros Lacros was gone. In his bosom, a baby too young to open their eyes. and I returned to Dragon World, burying the information I gained from Necros Lacros deep in my heart. Thus, Demon World collapsed. Chapter 20: Rupture. By the time I returned to Dragon World, Dragon God Summer was already bedridden. It was a dreadful sight. Blood gushed from his shoulder, one eye was wounded shut, one of his feet wilted. In addition, a great gash on his hand from this battle with the demon god. A body littered in wounds. That's the best I could describe Dragon God Summer's condition. Wounds inflicted by another god would not heal quickly. Only after a long time, maybe hundreds of thousands of years, would it slowly heal. Ah, Laplace. Well done. Despite being covered in wounds, Dragon God looked rather content. In spite of the pain, his heart must have found peace now that his revenge was complete. Whoever the criminal was, whether he still lives, now that their worlds were all destroyed, those questions had become moot. Demon World fell silent as expected. Then you should get some rest. You must be exhausted. In that calm face there was a shade of anxiety and regret. Maybe Dragon God Summer did regret having done so much. This wasn't what Lunaria Summer would have wanted. If things just settled as is, maybe in 10,000 years he would have found another path. No, I'll rest after making my report. What is it? But that opportunity was forever lost. I reported to Dragon God Summer the knowledge I gained from Necros Lacros. I found Necros Lacros in the collapsing demon world. According to him, Kirisis Calicis. Dragon God Summer listened to my report without any reaction. Probably was wondering of the purpose of my report. But as the story progressed, his expression changed. Grim, shock, and concern. By the time I wrapped up, Dragon God Summer looked full of trouble. That's all I have to report. Dragon God Summer? Deep in thought, Dragon God Summer did not respond immediately. But my report was over. I guess I should go and get some rest as Dragon God Summer had ordered. As I was thinking that... Yes, it's him. Dragon God Summer suddenly murmured and stood. He got up and was leaving the room. Where to? I hurried to ask. Dragon God Summer replied, Invade the human world. I thought that was preposterous. Why? Human race was the victim here. We should also be grateful for them for cleaning up after our mess. Unless the culprits were the humans the whole time. The humans wanted Dragon Race to destroy the other races, but why? There was no reason for it. If Lunaria Sama had lived, then the human race and Dragon Race would have stood united atop the 6 worlds. Moreover, Human God welcomed refugees from all the dead worlds. Unless that too was for human race's benefit somehow. In that case, wouldn't my work as a diplomat have sufficed? Eventually there'll be people of various races in every world. All the destruction would be counterproductive. If the human race was the culprit, their actions didn't make sense. I was troubled. I couldn't understand the reasoning behind Dragon God Sama's thoughts and actions. Knowing what I know now, the wise Dragon God Sama already realized the truth after hearing my report. Despite the scant info, he was able to piece all the clues together. Through that, he concluded who's responsible and who the true enemy was. Of course, this was because Dragon God Sama knew more than what was in my report, but back then I didn't understand. Laugh at my stupidity if you like. However, I just couldn't believe that the human race could be responsible for the whole sequence of events. Why didn't I notice? But at that time I didn't understand. I lacked wisdom. Moreover, he had planned ahead for a long time. Convene the 5 dragon generals. Our battle is not yet over. Dragon God Sama did not explain anything to us. Until that moment, we did everything as Dragon God Sama ordered, so perhaps he thought a detailed explanation was unnecessary. Of course, Dragon God Sama wasn't wrong. We should have followed his orders. But back then, all I wanted was an explanation. I thought it was absolutely necessary. If only. That's it. Everyone begin your preparations. Dragon God Sama gave the order to attack the human world as soon as the 5 dragon generals assembled. Just the order, with no explanation. Then he immediately dragged his injured body from the conference room. Dragon God Sama seemed to be in a rush, so we didn't have a chance to ask anything, and the order was too much of a shock.
Preposterous! Wasn't this war to honour Lunaria Sama? For what purpose would invading her homeland serve?
I don't know, but Dragon God Sama must have his considerations. But the 5 dragon generals were all in shock, only natural. They thought the war was finally over. Now it's time to heal the wounded, rebuild, mourn the dead, and look forward to a new future. To suddenly be told the fight was not yet over. Moreover, the opponent this time was our ally, an ally we had no reason to fight. What could be Dragon God Sama's reason for this?
Human world has long stood by us.
There must be a reason to attack and destroy the human world. To continue the meeting without Dragon God Sama was unusual. Normally, once Dragon God Sama gave us an order, we all went our separate ways to fulfill that order. However, that day, we continued our discussion. There were many reasons. Human world was Lunaria Sama's homeland. Human God was always an ally for the dragon race, and he'd helped us many times. Take me, for example. But I realized that the other dragon generals received his help many times as well. Destroying human world should be trivial compared to the other worlds, but the war was a tribute to Lunaria Sama. All those factors put a brake on our usual prompt actions. The discussions got heated and stalled. That's because we didn't understand Dragon God Sama at all.
Laplace, what on earth did you tell Dragon God Sama?
After a while, Szilard asked, so I answered honestly what I heard in Demon World, what happened in Demon World. Upon hearing that, Szilard said,
I see,
with a confident look.
I'm confident that you were deceived.
Fooled?
Me? Yes, to save your own life and protect Demon God's daughter, Necros Lacros conceived a convenient lie to instigate war between human and dragon world.
I didn't think Necros Lacros would lie. However, if he could, then it would fit. Until told by Szilard, my idiotic self never believed that Necros Lacros would conceive a lie to save his own skin. I was convinced that he couldn't lie. Since he long fought for peace between the worlds, maybe seeing his own beloved world destroyed changed him. It's only natural that he'd want to sow discord among his enemies. Perhaps he never entered battle because he was plotting behind the scenes. If so, his usual ineptitude might just be a foolish act to throw off any suspicion. When people's thoughts are in turmoil, they'd rather trust an outsider's opinion than their own intuition. Necros Lacros never lies, but that fact faltered against the thought that he may lie. There wasn't any definitive proof otherwise. Maybe, so... But something tugged at my heart. Normally, Dragon God Sama won't be fooled, but if it's your report, Dragon God Sama would trust it because of his trust in you. When I was told that, I couldn't respond. The reason that Dragon God Sama trusted the report was because of his trust in me. By giving Dragon God Sama false information, this had become my responsibility. As the 5 dragon generals, we're Dragon God Sama's limbs. Normally we'd simply obey Dragon God Sama's orders without a doubt, but this... My next sentence forced the dragon generals to make a decision. But why shouldn't we try to stop Dragon God Sama this time? Every one of the 5 dragon generals held their breath. No matter the bad intelligence, we had received our orders. Dragon God's decisions are final. To disobey is to deny Dragon God Sama. If only we'd tried to convince Dragon God Sama before he made his decision. To deny God is to deny your most earnest beliefs within your heart. It's an act of great courage. Have you ever tried to resist your deepest urge? It was my first time.
All right, I agree.
The first to concur was Chaos. He was the most heartbroken by the loss of each of his comrades.
Despite his warlike nature, he celebrated the most for the end of fighting. Of course, if war was necessary, he wouldn't object. Rather, he'd rush to the front line faster than anyone else. But a pointless battle. Indeed, no matter how weak the human race is, human god is a god as well, and Dragon God Sama remains heavily injured. He should recoup. Maxwell agreed. He did not wish for Dragon God Sama to labour so. Dragon God Sama may die if he continues fighting. Not that Dragon God Sama would lose, but if he was further injured, it could be irreparable and life-threatening. Dora-sama was at a loss. As the most loyal among us, it was the most difficult for her to disobey a direct order from Dragon God Sama. If it's for the sake of Dragon God Sama, she consented eventually, because her loyalty was stronger than anyone. If it was for Dragon God Sama's own sake, even with great reluctance, we must stop him. That was her will. After making our decisions, we went to Dragon God Sama. At first, we tried to persuade him with words. Human God was always on our side. The intelligence from Demon World was an impossible lie. We're concerned with the state of Dragon God Sama's health. Let's not invade the human world. But it didn't work. Dragon God Sama won't listen. No matter our explanation, Dragon God Sama won't heed our concerns. Human God is no longer human God. I don't know what he's plotting, but I have to kill him. I didn't appreciate the meaning of those words then, because human God seemed the same as the first time I met him. Rather, it was Dragon God Sama that changed. Dragon God Sama, who was wise, benevolent, loving and peaceable, had become the physical incarnation of war. We don't want to fight the human race, Dragon God Sama. Please rescind your order. Then we tried to abandon the fight. We refused to fight. So Dragon God Sama had to too. It doesn't matter. You may stay. I will go alone. However, Dragon God Sama would not relent, leaving us behind with those words to head to the human world. Please reconsider. No. Why? Human God has always been on our side. Didn't Dragon God Sama trust him as well? Isn't our current prosperity due to the efforts of the human race? Human God was the culprit of this war. Where's your evidence? In the human world. You know the word pestering? It was exactly that. We tried every method to persuade Dragon God Sama, but we couldn't. The conclusion was always the same. Dragon God Sama refused to listen, adamant on attacking human world. At the very least, why are we invading the human world? Why must human God be killed? If Dragon God Sama explained the details of these questions to us, we might have understood the wisdom of his actions, and it wouldn't have ended that way. However, I think it was unavoidable. We, the 5 Dragon Generals, were expected to obey Dragon God Sama. No matter how wise and talented, Dragon God Sama must have found it difficult to handle our objections when everyone had obediently followed his orders for hundreds of thousands of years. Explaining himself would not come naturally to him. For example, what if the broom you use every day suddenly said, "I don't want to clean anymore"? Do you explain to the broom why cleaning is necessary, or that the purpose of a broom is to clean? Do you force the broom to clean by force, or do you just find another tool to replace it? I think it was the same situation for him. Dragon God Sama was too reliant on the loyalty of the 5 Dragon Generals. No, that was incorrect. Dragon God Sama trusted in us, the 5 Dragon Generals. He believed we would never bare our fangs against him. Dragon God Sama must have believed that if he stubbornly proceeded, we would eventually relent and obey him again. But we betrayed that trust. If Dragon God Sama won't relent, then we'll have to stop you by force. The face of Dragon God Sama when Sillard said that was, even now, heartbreaking to me. I've never seen Dragon God Sama looking so shocked. I even wondered if we did something irredeemable. But even if we lost Dragon God Sama's trust, we thought it would be okay. We were prepared for that. Even if we lost our positions as Dragon Generals and were banished from Dragon World, as long as Dragon God Sama lived, that's what we thought. Just try it. But even that failed to change Dragon God Sama's mind. Killing Human God was that important. We just didn't realize it then. If we had a little bit of time, even if it's a waste, if Dragon God Sama explained in more details why we must invade Human World and kill Human God, if only one of us had the wisdom to understand it, I can't help thinking that. No, even then, this battle would have been inevitable. I knew. He took a long time to prepare for this. Still, I wonder, if something was different, it wouldn't have turned out this way. Such foolishness. That was how the battle began. The most miserable, stupidest, most meaningless final battle.